Hello, and welcome to this video that will give an introduction to accessibility. By the end of this video, you should have a better understanding of what accessibility is and why it's important here at U of M-Flint. And we'll look at what support and resources are available on campus and walk through some practical strategies that you can use to create more equitable teaching, learning, and working environments. But first, what is accessibility? Accessibility is the inclusive and intentional practice of removing barriers that prevent people with disabilities from doing what they need to do. This often involves someone relying on assistive technologies like screen readers, modified keyboards or mice, speech recognition software, and captions or transcripts for audio and video. So why is accessibility important? Accessible content benefits everybody, not just people with disabilities. It supports students with different learning preferences, English language learners, and people accessing content in different environments. Accessibility provides equal access and opportunity, and it's also required by law through regulations like the Americans with Disabilities Act. At U of M-Flint, accessibility is part of a larger university-wide strategic initiative. The goal is to make digital information and experiences accessible to everyone by embedding accessibility into everyday work. This includes raising awareness, providing tools, and building strong support systems across the university. The initiative is structured into 3 phases that support the target goal of April 24th, 2026. Phase 1 focused on building foundations and understanding the current landscape of the mandate and digital accessibility strategic initiative. Phase 2 focuses on enabling change through tools, trainings, and communication. And then phase 3 is about embedding accessibility and those tools into our daily workflows so that it becomes standard practice, not an afterthought. Accessibility best practices are going to apply to almost everything digital at the university, including websites, vendor tools like Canvas or Google, course materials, documents, videos, social media posts, and mobile apps. If the university provides it, accessibility will apply to it. Of course, there are some exceptions, such as archived content created before April 2026, or third-party content in which we don't have any control over, like a message board that we do not control or license. This also includes individualized password-protected documents, such as a student-specific financial aid statement, and any social media posts made before April 2026. However, it's really important to note that even if the content is considered exempt, if someone does ask for an accessible version, you must still be able to provide one upon that request. There are several campus partners involved in accessibility. Disability and accessibility support services help students with their requests for accommodations. Equity, Civil Rights, and Title IX, ECRT, ensures equal access and opportunity for staff, faculty, and students. ITS, Information Technology Services, supports digital accessibility compliance. And then the Office of Online and Digital Education, ODE, supports faculty with Canvas and teaching best practices. Over 56 million Americans have a disability. So as we get started with this next section, I implore you to think about a time in which you felt left out or at a significant disadvantage, thinking about how you felt and if a solution was able to be made, were your needs also able to be met with that solution? There are various types of disabilities. We see visible disabilities if someone's in a wheelchair, maybe they're using crutches, any assistive devices. And then there are hearing impairments that have varying degrees. So someone could be completely deaf, partially deaf. Same with vision impairments. Someone could be completely blind or have low vision or color blindness. And then we have what we would call invisible disabilities. So those disabilities that aren't always apparent to somebody and also may not be apparent to the person that could have the disability. They may not even know they have one. And this includes dyslexia, dysgraphia, any auditory processing disorders, depression, anxiety, post-traumatic stress disorder, epilepsy, autism, ADHD. At U of M-Flint, over 360 students are registered with disabilities. The most common accommodations include extended testing time, distraction-reduced environments, recorded lectures in alternative formats for assignments, for readings, things of that nature. And the top 5 disabilities that are being reported include anxiety, ADHD, depressive disorder, PTSD, which are all in that invisible disability umbrella. So when we're thinking about accessibility, it really starts with a mindset, asking people what they need to be successful, reflecting on policies, whether it's in the classroom, in the workplace, who do they benefit and who do they disadvantage? Remembering that others may not know they have a disability. Not all disabilities are visible. So including information or communicating that information about disability and accessibility support services to your students, or information about equity, civil rights, and Title IX with staff specifically, can all be very helpful and help you to cultivate that accessibility mindset as we move forward. Now we will just begin a surface level overview of some quick tips to embed into your everyday workflow. Captions don't just help people who are deaf or hard of hearing. A study found that most students, even those without hearing difficulties, use captions to help focus and retain information. I want you to think back if you've ever been in a waiting room or maybe have been watching a TV show or movie that had quiet talking, or maybe you needed the volume to be lower. Did captions help you even if you weren't depending on them? If you don't have a hearing impairment or difficulty, captions can really help those that have English as second language. Even learning the jargon and vocabulary in health sciences can be very helpful to have captions turned on. We can use Kaltura to upload videos and then edit captions for accuracy as a U of M-Flint supported resource. Descriptive links tell users where a link will take them without extra context. Instead of saying click here or read more, we can use meaningful link text like the Civil War PowerPoint presentation is available to all students, and hyperlink Civil War PowerPoint presentation. This will help screen reader users and also make content easier for everyone. On the right side of this slide, I have a screenshot of VoiceOver, which is a screen reader for Macs, pulling up a list of links on a page. This page has click here multiple times on it, so it can be very confusing for somebody using a screen reader to actually know where the link is taking them. Another tip is the use of color contrast. Poor color contrast makes content difficult for users with low vision or color blindness. A general rule of thumb is that if it's difficult for you to see, it is going to be difficult for others to see. Keeping it simple with a white background and black text, or using the Michigan blue with maize text are great ways to keep color contrast, keep up with the U of M colors. we don't want to have two dark colors being used together or two light colors being used together. Graphs often rely on color alone, which can exclude some users from accessing the material, especially those that may be colorblind. Graphs often rely on color alone, which can exclude some users, especially those that may be colorblind. Using high contrast colors, such as dark text on light background or vice versa, adding labels or patterns to your graphs, and then providing a data table alongside the graph, along with clear labels, can be great ways to ensure accessibility. Tables should include proper header rows and/or columns so screen readers can understand the meaning and structure of the data. Similarly, it can help sighted users also understand the data, especially if a header row or column, as seen here on this slide, has a different color and formatting. This table has a header row that has name, age, and interest, and it's green with bold white font. And then each column underneath is black font with banded gray rows. These headers help users know what each piece of information represents. So when should you use a table? We want to use tables for comparisons, schedules, numeric data, and avoiding table usage for layouts or spacing in a document, web page, and then using headings, lists, or content blocks instead of tables where appropriate. When images don't have alternative text, also called alt text, users who rely on screen readers miss out on critical information. Alt text should describe the purpose and meaning of an image, not just what it looks like. So now with this image, we can see a description underneath, and we have an AI tool here at UM-Flint to help us with creating alt text to help describe images, to make it a little bit easier to put into tools such as WordPress, Canvas, Google, or Microsoft products. Next, we'll talk about structuring heading levels. Headings act like an outline for screen reader users and should follow a logical order from a heading level 1 through a heading level 6. A heading level 1 is only used once and is the title of a page or document. And then main topics are heading level 2s. And if any of those heading level 2s have a subtopic, those could be a heading level 3, heading level 4. We want to avoid skipping levels. Just for visual style and formatting, we can use the built-in formatting tools to adjust any appearance as needed, whether you need to bold text, things like that. On this slide shows headings in action, and this is a screenshot of a page on our accessibility website about checking captions. And on the screenshot on the left side of the screen, we see why checking captions matters, how to check captions in Kaltura, and then we also see locate the captions editor, review for common errors, edit captions for accuracy. These headings are breaking up the content on the page and allowing someone that can visually see the page to break apart the content and kind of look to know what information they may be scanning for a little bit quicker than everything being the same font. The screenshot on the right shows why using headings matters. And it is another screenshot of VoiceOver from a Mac. And we can see that why checking captions matters is highlighted. It has a focus ring around it. And then in the VoiceOver rotor, we see the number 1 next to checking captions for Kaltura videos. That's a heading level 1. That is the page title. Why checking captions matters is highlighted and matches what that focus ring is around. And that's a heading level 2. And then it goes down with how to check captions in Kaltura, which is a heading level 2. And then we see a 3 next to locate the captions editor, review the common errors, edit captions for accuracy. So a screen reader user would then know these sections on the page and can jump to that section by using VoiceOver, just like someone that does not have a vision impairment can skim on a page and stop with their mouse at that section of content that they need. So headings can really benefit everybody, not just screen reader users, along with the use of descriptive links, color contrast, using tables, table headers the right way, and writing alt text can be very helpful. So as this video concludes, I encourage you to think about the courses or content you teach or create and how you can start to work and make those accessible. Maybe it is a document that you frequently use and making sure that that is accessible, and then using that workflow as you create more. Maybe it's looking at your course and going in and changing all of the links and making them descriptive links if you know you're using click here quite often. Making these changes a little bit at a time, these small changes will have a big impact in the documents or courses that you're teaching and creating.